I'm Dr. Robert Okin. I'm the author of Silent Voices, People with Mental Disorders on the Street. Society has many misconceptions about homeless, mentally ill people. In fact, society severely stigmatizes them. They're blamed and castigated for their mental illness and their poverty. They're also viewed as dangerous when, in fact, they're much more likely to be victims of violence than perpetrators of it. They're often seen as lazy and as choosing to live a life on the streets, when in fact, there are overwhelming forces that make it virtually impossible for them to get the housing and the services they need. They're blamed for not taking their psychiatric medication without any recognition of how intolerable the side effects of these medications are for many people. And they're often dismissed as hopeless and not worth spending society's money on. These negative stereotypes are not harmless. For one, they play havoc with people's self-esteem and make them feel like pariahs. For another, the negative branding associated with mental disorders and homelessness also has powerful effects at social, economic, and political levels. Reducing these people to some flaw and viewing them as fundamentally different from the rest of us absolutely negates our ability to identify and empathize with them and leads to a perception that they are somehow less than human. We don't see that beneath their symptoms and poverty, they're much more like us than different. And the failure of society to provide housing and treatment itself contributes to the negative way we see them. And this in turn leads to our willingness to starve them. My deepest wish is that understanding all this, the reader would be able to perceive what he shares in common with people who are homeless and mentally ill, not just the ways he's different from them. After all, we all get cold when the temperature drops, wet and uncomfortable when it rains, exhausted when we haven't slept. We all get hungry for food, affection, esteem, money, something. We all have feelings, needs, and vulnerabilities, and that we're all trying to make sense of our worlds, that we all screw up, we all do things that make bad decisions worse and bad situations worse, take the wrong path, fall off the horse, and have trouble getting back on. And if we understood all this, we might feel more connected to the people that we now shun. We might be willing to enact legislation that would provide mentally ill people with decent housing, clothes, food, dental care, and mental health treatment. Seeing them as fully human, we might be less likely to segregate, marginalize, and punish them. We might conclude that they're entitled to a life of dignity, not because they have to earn it, but simply because they're human like the rest of us.